Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Wednesday Workshop Live. Excuse me, I'm just turning a fan off that it won't seem to go off. Okay, well, hang on. There we go. I don't know why it wouldn't turn off when I hit the turn off button. But now it's off. Okay. It gets a little loud if I don't turn it off. So welcome, everybody. Good evening. I'm Diana. Welcome to Wednesday Workshop Live with Build a Quilt, home of patchwork in the hoop. That's right. Patchwork with your embroidery hoop. It's a lot of fun. You can make some really beautiful quilts, the same kind of beautiful quilts that you can make with any other quilting technique. So I want to welcome in all of our new viewers tonight. And please don't be shy. Go ahead in the comment section, sign in if you want to call it that. Introduce yourselves. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you're from. I always love knowing where you're from. Being part of a military family as a child, and my husband was in the military for several years. I have lived several places, so it's kind of always nice to know, oh, I know where that is because I've lived there or lived close to there. So go ahead and sign in. Let us know where you're from. I'd love to hear it or see where you're all from. And again, welcome if you're new with us, and welcome if you're a returning viewer. You guys know I just absolutely love having you with me on Wednesday nights. And did you notice, if you're not new to us, my voice sounds better, right? It's because I am now virus-free of COVID. I've had my 2 negative tests, and the doctor said I can go back out into the 3D world and be amongst all the humans again, which is really nice. I still have some symptoms that are kind of left over, just a very mild little cough. I still have absolutely no taste or smell, nothing, which is the weirdest sensation. I mean, like tonight for dinner, what we had for dinner, like I know what it's supposed to taste like. So when I tasted it, it was like, oh, I know this is really good, but I couldn't taste any of it. It's just so bizarre. And I also get some tiredness still, where like it seems like somebody flicks the switch and I just turn into a noodle, and I have to like sit down, and I usually like end up sleeping for 30 minutes to an hour. My doctor says that both of those things might take a month or two to straighten themselves out, which I'm not fond of. Now that I don't have the virus, I've had the experience. I don't want to do it no more. So have any of you guys had COVID? Let me know. Was it horrible for you? I have to say, for me, it was like having a head cold. It wasn't too awful bad. I am vaccinated. Maybe that helped. I think probably it helped a little, but I am glad to be over it, even though I still got this lingering stuff. I'm just glad to be over the bulk of it. And what I am truly, truly, truly grateful for is that my husband never got it. And I will tell you, I slept on the couch for several nights, which didn't allow me really to rest at all. But I did, because I was just so careful, like constantly masked at home, even when he wasn't here, so that I wouldn't be spreading germs throughout the house. And he ended up not getting it. So I am so thankful for that. So let's check some of our comments. Hi, Ruth from Lake Stevens, Washington. Ruth knows that I know where Lake Stevens is. Such a beautiful part of Washington State. I love it out there. We used to go to Lake Stevens. We have good friends that live in Lake Stevens. So we used to go out there on the weekends for barbecues and stuff. Lots of fun, beautiful area. Your taste was messed up too, but it was like you had a penny in your mouth. You know, Ruth, I've heard that. I've heard that it can be like a really metallic taste. I will say the one odd thing for me was that before I had no taste at all, for about a day and a half, everything tasted like cinnamon. Not like sweet sugar cinnamon, which would have been nice, like cinnamon toast, but no, just the spice cinnamon. That's what it tasted like. Everything. And it was mild, but it was odd. You'd like taste something like I would have like a piece of salmon or something for dinner, and it would taste like cinnamon. It was really bizarre. But then everything went away, and it's gone now. Hopefully it will come back. I have been told it could take 2 years. I'm not going to do that. We're not doing that. it's not going to take 2 years. I can't handle the 2-year thing. I have a super duper sensitive smell response, super, super sensitive. Like I can smell rotting garbage 3 miles down the road. It's like my superpower and I want it back. We'll see. Anyway, I'm doing much better. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart to everybody who sent me notes of encouragement and support and love. It was just in get well. You guys really kept me going during these pretty much almost 3 weeks it took to get all the way through this, which I understand is not bad. That's kind of almost a normal thing. So I'm just thrilled that it's over and done with, though. So again, go ahead and sign in. Let us know where you are from, who you are, so I can welcome you and we can all have a good time together. This week, we've got a brand new block to explore. Now, I will tell you, if you are part of Quilt Lab subscription service, you should have received an email this afternoon, maybe around 3:30 Central Time, that has your coupon code in it. And my sincerest apologies that I haven't sent you your second quarter free exclusive pattern yet. It's part of this tiredness thing. I thought from last weekend till now, I could do 2 blocks. Normally I can do 2 blocks like that. I couldn't. It was all I could do to get the Quilt Lab block done. Because I work for maybe a couple hours and then I am out for a while. Today was much better, which was good. I had a lot of work, but still from like 3:30 to 4:30, I had to take a nap. I was just exhausted. Weird little virus, a little stinker. But anyway, that block is coming to you all this weekend. Okay. I have started it. In fact, I'm just gonna, there. Now you've seen it. That's all I'm going to show you. I've got my sample and already I'm just working on the video and stuff like that for you guys. And so it's coming this weekend, your exclusive one for Quilt Lab subscribers. Okay. But tonight we will be talking about a brand new block. I'm not going to show it to you yet. If you saw the message and stuff I sent out today, you know what kind of a block it is and all. And with this block, well, it started with some of our single blocks, but with this block, it's our first Build-A-Quilt block where it has in it a link, and in that link will take you to a full how-to video from fabric and prep all the way through till the end. So the nice thing is you can like skip around to parts that you want to see. You can stop and say, all right, I'm going to work up till this point and then I'll watch and do the next point, because I did it in very specific sections for you guys. So it will always be available. That video is only available to the people who have the pattern set. Oh, I wasn't supposed to show you that yet. Dang it. But so it can't be like shown to a group. It can't be sold, reproduced, edited, chopped down to use in another video, anything like that. If you have any need for something like that, like you want to teach this block or something like that, that's something you need to contact me about, and we'll talk about how that stuff works. I've done that a few times and I'm always willing to do that. But the video itself at this point is only if you have the pattern set. There, see, you can't see it now because I showed you the backside. What a goof am I. See, I still am getting better, right? Whatever. So, and then this is starting week 3 of our friendship block quilt along, and I will tell you, I'm so far behind. We might extend it another week. I don't know, but it's our mosaic friendship square. 6 a week, and we're going to end up with a 30 by 30 friendship quilt for giving. Your challenge is to give it to someone, a friend, a family member, a charity, anything you want, but your way of putting your quilt out into the world and making the world a more beautiful and wonderful place. So, but this is our block, and you can of course get that at the website. We'll talk more about that towards the end of the evening. Okay. Actually, I have some memes to show you guys. Let me bring the first one up. I've got some cute ones tonight, I think. Let's bring up this one first. I just thought this one was absolutely hilarious. There we go. It says, in a quilting household, it is not uncommon. The print is a little bit little. It is not uncommon to observe a mug rug ratio of 1 to 6 or more, meaning that if you live in a quilting household or somebody who quilts with their embroidery machine or does machine embroidery, it's not unusual to have 1 mug and 6 mug rugs to choose from. Is that you guys? Let me know in the comments if that's the way you are. Mug rugs are so popular. Even I thought, by now they would start to slow down, but I still see new patterns out there. I still create some new patterns for you guys. This was the last one we did. It was part of our last month's block scenario. This was a mini project we did. And this is actually nice, as like a hot pad and stuff too, for warm dishes on your table. Not super hot. Maybe if you use Insel Bright or something, you could do a hotter pan. But because this is a really good size. I always make my mug rugs nice and big. I'm not wild about the rectangular ones. They're cute. Or if I don't like the ones that have a lot of embellishment on them. They're so super cute and I love looking at them, but they get messed up when I use them. So I like square ones, big enough for my big coffee cups or my big hot chocolate cups in the wintertime, that kind of thing. So that was this particular little cartoon I thought was cute. So if that's your house, you know what I mean. So I just have a basket of mug rugs that sit out on the coffee table and people just grab them and use whichever ones they want. Some folks have their favorites and otherwise they just use the ones, whatever one is on top, and grab it and go, because I've made a lot of them. I make a lot of them. I think they're super cute. Now here's another one that I love. This one, it says, let's see, let me bring it up really well for you guys to see. Nope, there you go. It was there. Sorry. It says, housework only comes before quilting in the dictionary. Isn't that true? And would you look at so this is from Feathered Fibers by Carla Barrett. So thank you, Carla Barrett. These are adorable. There was a whole little series of these chicken ones, and I kind of love chickens. So I thought this was super cute. But did you notice that she didn't mess around with the quilt on the back wall? It's like some of those big, beautiful mosaic-y ones you see down at the Quilt Museum in Paducah. So I thought, wow, she just really went all out on the artwork portion of this little cartoon, but I love it. Yes, quilting or housework only comes before quilting in the dictionary. That is the truth of the matter, especially here in my house. Luckily, I have a dear husband who doesn't mind pitching in. Like right now, I think he's out doing the dinner dishes for me. Isn't that sweet? He's such a good guy. Such a good guy. Alrighty, so we have another one to bring up. I found some really good ones this time. I thought, oh, this one I just thought was so stinking funny. Do you guys love, if you're somebody who loves Disney, you'll really love this one. Or if you love the movie Finding Nemo. We just did the musical Finding Nemo with our juniors, our children through high school age students at our local theater group back this last spring. They did a great job, but I love this one. It says, I got like 6 quilts in progress. There's no way I can possibly. Oh, look, a new pattern. That's me all the time. I should never start looking at things for designing something new or going to a shop and looking at something new, because I forever am coming up with different patterns or thinking about different patterns. So my to-do list as far as getting my quilts done is pretty high sometimes, because I see a pattern and I just have to dig in and digitize it and start making it. for myself. In fact, one of you asked about the kaleidoscope pattern that I did back last year. The video is out on the or out on the YouTube channel for that one. That is a single square from Lori Holt's book Kaleidoscope that I blew up and used my larger pieces from the Build-A-Quilt segments and created that as a large wall hanging quilt, and it turned out really good. I loved how it turned out. Alrighty, so let's stop sharing that one. I think I have one more to share with you. Yeah, now this one is, I thought just that this was very sweet. Hem your blessings with thankfulness so they don't unravel, from Anonymous. Yeah, I thought that was something good for us to take with us. Hem our blessings with thankfulness. It's always a good thing to be thankful for the things we have. It's very easy to be upset or depressed or unthankful, I guess, because, well, that's not the right word, but it's always easy to be down about the things that we don't have or things that don't turn out right. But when you stack those up to the blessings we do have, I think the blessings that we have, that pile turns out bigger, right? I hope so for you. I know, I have lost 8 children. I have had cancer. I almost lost Dave to a minor stroke last year, or a year and a half ago. But you know what? We are so blessed in other ways. So that's life. You move on past those things, right? So that's our little saying for this week to remember. Hem your blessings with thankfulness so they don't unravel. I completely agree with that. Alrighty. So those are our memes for this week, our little quilting things. Now, I didn't get any show and tell or thank you for sharing from anybody, but I have one I want to show you. Oh, my voice is starting to go a little bit. Sorry about that, guys, if it gets a little raspy. I have one that I want to show you. Here we go. And oops. There we go. Here we go. So this is a wall hanging. It's a runner, but it can be hung on the wall. You can see that this looks kind of like a Dresden, a flower garden Dresden. It is technically quilted, but this is all machine embroidered. This is not done the way we do Build-A-Quilt. And this is actually my project. This is one of the very first projects with an embroidery machine that I ever did regarding anything that looked like or reminded me of in any way quilting. And I adore Dresden plates. So when I saw this design on the internet, I purchased it. It wasn't very expensive, $4 or $5 maybe, and created this. And all of these fabrics, every single one of them, are from Tula Pink's collections at that time. And I think at that time, Elizabeth was her most recent collection. So it's been a while ago. And I mixed and matched the different collections so you can see how well her collections just come together, right? But the reason I thought I would share that with you all tonight, let's remove it, is because I actually have it right here. So this is it. I was going to make this into a huge bed quilt. And can I tell you, this took forever. I mean, really forever. I had a little Singer embroidery machine when I made this. And each one of these squares is made up of 4 square pieces. And each piece probably took me a full day. This has been like 8, 9 years ago, long before I even thought about creating Build-A-Quilt. But this is all embroidered onto the fabric. The little plates are. And so these are all Tula Pink fabrics. I will tell you the backing fabric isn't Tula, but it was all I had at the time. There's some more. There are those. Didn't they turn out beautiful? I love them. I hang this out in our living room or our dining area quite frequently. So that's this. But the reason I wanted to show it to you is because even though this looks like a quilt, feels like a quilt, talks like a quilt, it has no batting in it. And that's a thought I wanted to bring up tonight, is the fact that when you do things for a wall hanging, unless it's something smaller, or unless it's going to be fairly lightweight in the end, you don't always have to do those with batting in them, okay? Or with a ton of batting in them. When I do wall hangings, wall quilts, I do the thinnest batting, the lightest weight batting that I can, because batting is the one thing in your quilt that really helps gravity pull that quilt out of shape. And we don't want that, right? So this has no batting in it. This is the backing, no batting in it, because this is really heavy. If I had put batting in this, this would weigh so much more. And it already weighs so much that I didn't make it any bigger because I thought it would fall off the wall. I'd never get it to hold because these are really dense pieces. The plates are embroidered. The outsides of the blocks are embroidered. So it's a heavy, heavy piece. So think about that when you're doing your wall pieces. Sometimes, even just for wall quilts, a light layer of flannel, a cotton flannel, can work really well. It's thin, it won't put so much bulk in, but you still get a quilted look to your project. So I thought I would bring that up tonight. Have any of you ever tried flannel in your batting? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you about that, because I do that sometimes for my wall quilts. It just makes them, those quilts that I make for wall quilts are never going to be used as baby quilts. They're never going to be used as bed quilts. They're only ever going to be on the wall. And so I want them to be of a weight where gravity isn't really going to pull them down. And that's kind of hard to do. That's why I never do a wall quilt bigger than 60 by 60. And that's a big one. That sweet spot of 40 by 40 to 50 by 50 to 60, I guess, is really the best size for you to get a beautiful sized quilt, but not something that's really pulling down. Okay. So let me know if you've ever done that. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that idea. That's about the only time I ever use flannel in my quilts, but it's good if you want a thin, lighter weight wall quilt. Alrighty. Are you guys ready to see this month's? I know it's like the middle of August and we're just getting to the August build a quilt pattern, the Quilt Lab pattern, but are you ready to see it? So if you saw what I sent out today, it is the flower basket quilt. Now, you guys know, if you've been a quilter for a while, there are tons of flower baskets out there. I know of at least 12 variations of a flower basket. But I created this one because I think baskets should have flowers in them. So I created this one that has, like, I'm considering this to be like the flower here. And then this is the basket with a little bit of the red as an accent in it. Now I'm going to show you the block, the finished block. I thought it turned out really good. This is the 10 by 10 size. What do you think? Do you guys like this? This is what we call a figural block, or you could call it a picture block. It's something that is definitely a specific shape, a specific type of object. I've wanted to do a basket block for us, a flower basket block for us for a long time, and just never worked it in, but I wanted to do it before the end of the summer. So it is our August block. Now, this is the 10 by 10 size. This block comes in 2 more sizes, so you get all of them in your pattern set, that are much bigger. It comes also in a 15 by 15 and a 20 by 20. So if you are someone who likes to do the little wall hangings or the table mats, that 20 by 20 is a perfect size for that. If you want to make up a quick quilt, like a throw quilt or even a bed quilt, using those 15 by 15 inch blocks, you can knock that out in no time. And this is a perfect beginner block, you guys, because we're only using 2 segments. We're using the square and the half square triangle. Now you're making the squares in different colors and you're making the half square triangles in different colors. All of that information is in the pattern pack. And the pattern pack, in the video, I go through this page by page with you. We have a fabric information sheet to help you pick fabric. We have our cut sheet. We have the coloring sheet. Now you're going to say, what's the coloring sheet if you're new? But the coloring sheet is just what it sounds like. It is the pattern. Oh, I don't have mine here, but it is this block done as just a black and white graphic. So you can go in and color it in with your pencils and stuff, figure out what colors you want to do, and then cut your fabric so that you're not going to waste your fabric, or decide that, gosh, I thought I was going to like that fabric, and in the end I didn't. And so this is the 10 by 10. So any of you that have the Riley Blake design set that I did, the blocks, the 16 blocks from their challenge, this will fit in with those blocks. We've been doing a lot of 10 by 10 blocks this year. So you've got a whole library of them now that you can make all kinds of beautiful quilts with. I think this block would be beautiful as an all over quilt with each flower section done in a different color. Like choose the same color for baskets, but all different colors for the flower parts and the accents. I think that would be beautiful. You'd have a whole flower garden. And I think you would like that. Now this 10 by 10 size is perfect to go in with other blocks to make a larger quilt. And then the 15 by 15, like I said, if you put those together, quickly, you're going to end up with a good size quilt very fast. And that 20 by 20 is a great, again, you could use that to make a bigger quilt, but it's that sweet spot for little wall hangings and table mats and things like that. It's a great size to do as a gift. Are you going to be giving someone flowers for a birthday? Do you know someone who maybe has just had a baby? Or maybe you have a friend who just became a grandmother for the first time. And you want to take flowers to her to say, congratulations, you're a grandma. Then do that 20 by 20 flower basket and then bring her some flowers or a basket to go with it or something like that. It would be a great gift. I would go crazy if someone did that for me. That would be awesome. So this is our block for this month. Now, I chose the mint because I have a flower vase in our home that is kind of this color. It's a glass, a bubbled glass, but it's kind of this color. Dave gave it to me for my birthday, I believe. I don't think it was our anniversary. No, I think it was our birthday because he knows I love vases and things like that. So he gave it to me many years ago, and I use it constantly for flowers from the garden, or if he brings flowers home from the market, I always put them in there. And it's kind of this color. So I made my basket this color, and you guys know it's my favorite color, right? So, I mean, can you tell we've got the same colors back there and that one? So what can I say? And then the red was just for red flowers. I was thinking of like geraniums and poppies and roses even. Beautiful red roses. But you could do the basket in a brown, a beige, something that would be indicative of a wooden basket or a woven basket. So you could certainly do that as well. When you get your pattern set, you get your full printable instructions. You get your digital files for all 3 of your sizes, and you get that link to the full how-to video, so that you can, what I like to do with the videos is I like to watch them through, kind of get the idea in my mind. And I do it with my pattern sitting in front of me so I can kind of mark it up as I go. My patterns, if you saw the patterns I use, all kinds of patterns I purchased, my own patterns, I mark them up all over the place. I put my own notes in there. I put little keys in the side to tell me what fabrics I use now. On this one, I just use white, but this minty color, that is the smaller doodle print from Kimberbell Basics. This was a red on tone. I don't know who that's from. That is a red I've had for a while. It was part of a, I think it was part of a 4th of July quilt pattern that I had a few years ago, and I had some left over. And so I used that, but it turned out the color turned out really nice. What do you guys think of this? Have you made flower basket quilt blocks before? They are a much older kind of quilt. They're kind of a classic in that way. And I like doing newer blocks, but I like throwing in for you guys some classics, because you can't beat the classics. The classics are always good in your quilts for sure. And if you're new, this is great because you're making only the two most basic quilt blocks, the square and the half square triangle. Oh, and in your pattern set, in that video, I've also added an additional section, not only the demonstration for each of the single units, but I've also added a little video clip in there. It's about 3 minutes long, for how you sew these together on your machine without using your 1/4 inch foot, and you'll get the perfect seam allowance every time. So I've added that in. This is a really soup to nuts video. So I hope you like it. It will cover everything a beginner needs to know. And of course, there's always some tips and things in there if you're a more advanced build-a-quilter that you would want to know as well. So you can certainly do this in any colors that you like. And I hope you like it. And like I said, Quilt Lab subscribers, you should have received your coupon code so you can download your free version of it. Alrighty. Any questions? We have a quiet group tonight. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anybody? Anybody at all? Okay, because if we don't, we're going to end up getting done sooner, guys. That's okay. I mean, I don't need to keep you till 7. Only if you want to stay till 7. Alrighty. So, excuse me. So, let me bring up the question of the week. Wait, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Hang on. I didn't put the new one in there. There we go. Okay. So in this question of the week, when we spin to see who wins, because you have to answer to be in to win the block, I'm giving away, this was a free block that we did last year called the Celebrate with Sprinkles block. See how simple this block is? Interestingly, it's made, you make this whole 4-part section or 3-part section here in one go. So this block is a 4-patch. It's this, 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 and this. And you notice there's only color in these corners of the half square triangles. And you're like, Diana, that's kind of a boring block, man. I'm not sure I'm really digging that. Well, let me show you a picture of what this can look when you do it as a quilt. Look at that. That is, I think, 32 of these blocks would be a good size quilt. And look, it looks like you've just sprinkled color. Now, I've used the same 4 colors in each one, but you could change your colors in those half square triangles each and every time you do it. And you could have a multitude of sprinkles on there. And I think it makes the coolest looking quilt. Or you could do all of the white in a color or a print and do all of these little pieces here in white. Do it like a reverse. I think that would look totally cool. I really like that idea. What do you guys think about that? So if you win tonight, that is one suggestion that you can do with this quilt block. Okay. And you notice on mine, I didn't use solid white. I used this little Swiss dot to give it some life to it on my sample. It is, I believe it is a 10 by 10 block as well, is it not? Yes, it's a 10 by 10 too. So if you happen to be the winner and you get this block, you've got another 10 by 10 block. It makes a nice, block for filling in parts of your quilts too. So a nice filler block. Let's see. Did you say that you use pre-cut stabilizer sheets, and where do you get them? Oh, great question, Ruth. Thank you for that. I use both. I use pre-cut and I use on a roll. I use on a roll when I'm going to use a hoop bigger than my 5x7 or my 6x6. You guys know that I have a Brother Dream machine here and I have a Stellaire. Both Brother and Baby Lock machines will use this 6x6 hoop, and it's my favorite all-time hoop. In fact, when I made this week's block, I could do 4 pieces in each one. So I only ended up with, I think, like 5 or 6 hoopings for the whole block. So you don't have to do a hooping for each and every little block. That's for the 10 by 10 size. So when I use these sizes, I use pre-cut wash away stabilizer right there. And I get mine from Amazon. It's inexpensive stabilizer. You do not have to buy the big name brands. They're the same as this. And as far as what we use them for with Build a Quilt, they're perfectly adequate. I've never had one fail on me. I've never had it cause a problem with my machine. I've been using this inexpensive brand for about 3 years now, I guess. And I think you can buy 100 sheet packs at a time. And I usually buy like 5 packs of them, and that lasts me. For me, it lasts me like a couple of months, but for most of you, it will last you longer. And then for hoops that are bigger than 5x7 or 6x6, I use on a roll. And I have lots of different brands. Any different brand of wash away that is this kind of wash away, the same kind we use for freestanding lace, will work just fine. I mean, I've Kimberbell and Dimes, one OESDs. Gosh, there's even some more brands that I have. I just have all kinds of brands of wash away stabilizer on the roll that I've had. And I have a lot of it only because I don't use it in my bigger, I don't use it very often because a lot of times the pre-cuts and my smaller hoops is all I need. And when I'm making patterns for Build a Quilt, I need to make sure that they're going to go in a 5x7 hoop. So I use this and my 5x7 hoop when I'm testing. But if you're using a bigger hoop because you want to do more segments in a hooping, that's perfectly okay. You're just going to need to do it from a roll because they say you can use one of these sheets in a 6x10 hoop. It's so skimpy on your edges. I would be afraid it would pop out. I would not use this in more than a 5x7 hoop or 6x6, 4x4 if you're going to use a 4x4, the smaller hoops. And where do I get it? That's the other part of Ruth's question. I get mine from Amazon, Ruth. In fact, when we're done here, I will go onto Amazon and see if I can find it and a link, and I will link it in the comments on this live video. So give me like 5 or 10 minutes after we're done this evening, and I will do that, and I'll go back into the comments or the description, and I'll link it there for you guys so that you can find it. I think so. When I buy this from name brands, I think you don't get 100 sheets. It's not that much, and you pay like $25 to $30 for a set. I think I pay $25 or $30 for this big thick pack. In fact, I don't have any in its packaging, but I have a whole stack in here because I just filled my bin that I keep right here. So this is how it comes. It's got like a backing sheet on the back. I think that's how it happens when they're packaging it. And so that's it. It just comes in a white poly bag. I rip it open and then I keep it in a tub over here next to the machine, and I just grab it out of there. And I keep about 5 packages in my tubs at a time. And then when I get down to about like 1 package, I order it because it gets here in a day or two when I order it. And I know you guys some of you have used it because I think I've put out the information before, because a couple times when I went to use it, they were sold out of it, which is I never had it sold out before. So I called the company, and so they have me on a kind of a recurring order now because I can't run out of it. I would lose it. But I will put that information on the back, on the description for you guys for sure. All right. So next week, I will show you all of my pieces for the the friendship quilt that I have done. And this week, if you have snowballs done, send me a picture over at support@sewincommon.com, and that way I can share them, because I like showing you guys my stuff, but I really want to show off your stuff because you guys inspire me to think of new things for Build a Quilt, and you inspire one another. So send me your photos for that. After you've made your beautiful flower basket, you're going to want to send me your picture for that too, so I can share those as well. Or any of your quilting projects. And I mean that, you guys. You don't have to send me only Build a Quilt pictures. Our friend T last week sent me a picture, and I shared it with all of you, of a beautiful quilt that she's making for her daughter's classroom. Her daughter's a teacher. I love sharing that with you guys. So anything like that that you want to, and we'll put it in our thanks for sharing section for sure. Okay, so where do you find all the patterns and stuff? Well, I want to bring this up because if you were with us last week, you know that we've made some changes. We are now no longer sewincommon.com, because all of you guys wanted and wrote to me and said, can we just make this Build a Quilt? The website and YouTube is now just Build a Quilt. We're just known as Build a Quilt. So our website is now www.mybuildaquilt.com. Easy to remember. Just remember to put the my in front of there. Mybuildaquilt.com. And if you're looking for us here, it's the little @ at Build a Quilt for YouTube. At YouTube, if you accidentally still type in Sew in Common, you will get our channel, because they won't let me change like the base name. They have some rule that after you do it, you can't change the base name. But if you type in the @ Build a Quilt, and that's what I put in all the materials now, you'll find the channel here. And please subscribe, like, and share. Okay. That's how this group has grown. And boy, we grow by leaps and bounds every single day. You guys amaze me. So subscribe, like, and share, and enjoy everything we have to offer here at Build a Quilt. Enjoy one another's company. I got a beautiful note the other day from a couple of you that said you've met here on the group and you've become fast friends. I love that. That's fantastic. All right, let's do question of the week. So with question of the week this week, you have to kind of tell on yourself, okay? That's okay. It's just between us. Nobody else is going to see it, right? Here's your question. It's kind of a double question. What brand is your favorite embroidery machine? What do you use? I'd love to know. Because sometimes I know different companies make different things that can be used on machines. So I like to make sure that, for me especially, I kind of stay up to date on things. So if a lot of you use Janome or Brother or Bernina, whatever, I'd like to know that. That's helpful for me. And then the second part of the question is, how many sewing embroidery machines do you own? Now, that's the part where you're going to have to tell on yourself a little bit. You guys know I have the Dream Machine. I have a Stillaire. I have the big, beautiful Brother Quilt Club, the biggest one, sewing machine. I have several other sewing machines. I've got a lot. And this is kind of a funny thing, because when I first started embroidery, my whole life, I had never had more than one sewing machine, one and one only. And I did everything with it. I sewed clothes, I sewed quilts, everything. I sewed upholstery and stuff, slip covers and things on my one little machine that didn't do anything but go forward and backward. And when I started doing embroidery, I was talking to a lady at the local shop 2 hours from my home, and she was talking, it seemed to me she was talking about a couple of different things. And I said, "Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but how many machines do you have?" And she said, "Oh, I have 6, honey, just 6." I didn't say it out loud, but I thought, what in the world do you need 6 machines for? Well, you never want to say something like that out loud, because now I'm part of that group. I have way more machines than I should have. But I love each and every one of them. I have a reason for having each and every one of them. But I don't justify it. I just have them. I love them. I use them, right? It's my one thing in life. I don't go on big exotic trips. I don't have, big fancy cars. I have embroidery machines. So tell on yourself just a little bit. It'll be our secret. Ruth, you have, oh, Ruth, you're very welcome for that information. I saw your note there. Thank you, dear. You have a brother, 4500D, and a 6000D. Ruth, I am not familiar. Are those combo machines or individual, like sewing and one's embroidery? Can you let me know? I'm going to write that down, though. I will look that up and become more educated on those machines. Just written those down. Because I will tell you, my Stellaire is embroidery only. And for a very, 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 very long time, I would not own a combo machine. And this is still kind of my reasoning. And if I didn't have Build a Quilt, I would never have bought my dream machine if I didn't have Build a Quilt. But the reason I got the dream machine was because my Stellaire for a little while was having some really weird trouble not picking up the thread. It wouldn't make the loop, and so it would come undone. It was causing a mess. And so when I took it to the maintenance gentleman at the shop, we figured out what was going on. It was something pretty simple, but they gave me this. This had come in on a trade. This machine was brand new. There wasn't even 9,000 stitches on it. I mean, it was brand new. And the lady that bought it bought every hoop, every gadget, everything that went with it, all the luggage, everything. And it's a Dream Machine 2. It was the upgraded version. I got it for almost nothing. But they let me bring the machine home just with the embroidery unit so I could continue to work, because that shop is 2 hours away from me, and they were going to need to have my machine for a couple of weeks, and I couldn't not have a machine to work on. So they sent me home with this one, and I was very happy to use it. And I fell in love with it. Like 2 days later, I was calling the shop back, and the gal there is named Chris. I said, "Chris, how much do you want for this Dream Machine, and when can I pick up the rest of the stuff that goes with it?" And she told me, guys, I'm just going to tell you what I paid for it because it's incredible. I only paid $3,000 for that machine, and it was new. 9,000 stitches. Would you agree with me? That's new. And that's what I paid for it. It was incredible. I felt it's one of those things, thankfulness and blessings, right? Incredible. And I use this machine all the time. It's such a workout horse. But the reason I only had the Stellaire that was an embroidery only, and then I have my big brother quilting club machine for my sewing, and when I got it, I was still doing free motion and stuff like that until I just realized I ain't never going to be good at free motion, is because if I have a combo machine and that's the only machine I had and it broke down, I would end up with no machine for, maybe up to a month or more. I don't know. And so I had the 2. But now I like having this one because if one of my single machines breaks down, I have I basically have 2-in-1 machines here. So it worked out nice that way for me. I was incredibly thankful and blessed to get that machine, and I loved it. Ruth says, both are combo. You also have a Bernina 180 sewing machine and your mother's 1949 Singer. I have a Singer too. I have one of the very early Singers, like I think it's like a 1918 Singer in a wooden cabinet. Yeah, I love it. And I sewed with that for a long time. I sewed with that. I love those old machines are workhorses. They keep going today. Your mom's machine today would probably work with no problem. My machine is a treadle machine. My Singer is a treadle machine. And I still like treadling. And treadling was really good for me because I spin wool. I took some classes to learn how to spin wool. Then I went to a farm when we lived on Whidbey Island in Washington. And I asked the lady if I could buy some of her sheep wool. And she said, you know what? Do you know how to work with animals at all? Do you know? And I did. I grew up in a farming community. I'd been around cows and horses and birds and all that kind of stuff with them. And she said, if you'll come help me during lambing season, I'll give you all the pelts you want, all the wool you want. Am I lucky or what? So Dave was out on, he had to go down to Nevada for flying. He was an aviator. He had to go down there and fly for a couple of weeks. So I helped her during lambing season. And when he got home and we were living in the bachelor officer quarters while our house was being finished on base. So I was the only woman in this big like hotel full of guys. That was fun, let me tell you. Because the pool room was right down for me. So they were playing pool every night and I couldn't sleep. So I carded wool. When he came home, our tub full of wool being washed and hanging up from the shower. He was like, oh my gosh, what have you gotten yourself into? But so I do that. And I don't know even where I was going with that. I know that had to make sense for something. I'm still losing my train of thought. I apologize. The treadling on my Singer. And so for learning how to spin, you use a foot treadle. So it was much easier for me to do it that way. Okay. I'll get it back. I'll get my brain back. So, alrighty. So is nobody else going to jump in and answer the question? Nobody else is going to tell on themselves? Well, that makes me sad. All right, then, Ruth, you're going to, I don't think you have this block. Do you, Ruth? Do you have the sprinkles block? Let me know, dear. If you have it, I'll send you something else. I'll send you a different free block tomorrow. Please send me your email. Every week, if you win, send me your email and I will. You don't have it. Great. Send me your email and I'll send you the pattern set tomorrow. So thank you for playing, Ruth. I wish everybody had played. Usually you guys have been quiet tonight. That's okay. We're not always in a big mood to do that stuff, right? Alrighty. So again, our new YouTube address is at Build a Quilt. That's what it looks like. I knew I had a little thing there to say at Build a Quilt. Website is mybuildaquilt.com. Email support@sewincommon.com. All right, that's going to change eventually, but I haven't bought new email addresses yet. These will still work just fine. Now, I have a surprise for all of you. I had this last week and I have a new one this week. I have a coupon code for you all. So from today through August 21st, we have a new coupon code 20BAQ2024, and you will get 20% off at the website any one Build a Quilt product. Okay. And I have left the Build a Quilt Basic Sets combo set on there because we're going to be using it a lot in 2025. And so for a lot of the newer folks that weren't around when it was out before, I want to give you the ability to get it. at a good price, like I did when it originally came out. That set has 6 of the most commonly used segments in it. And we have something really special coming with it in 2025. So you're going to want that set if you want to take part in some of the stuff that's coming in 2025. And your coupon code 20BAQ, Build a Quilt 2024. And so that's from August 14th to the 21st. So please write that down. And you can use it one time on one product over at the website, mybuildaquilt.com. Okay. And that's my pleasure to put that out there for you guys, save you a little money on some of your obsessions, right? I know I'm always looking for coupons for my obsessions for sure. All right. And so go ahead and use it. Go grab yourself your new pattern, the flower basket pattern. If you have any questions or anything about that pattern, you can get a hold of me, of course, and I'll get back with you. So until next time, everybody, it's been great to be with you all tonight. Remember, we meet every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about our mosaic friendship quilt that we're making. And we're going to switch a little bit from the quilt blocks to some finished quilting. I got a special one coming for next week. I think it will be helpful for those of you that like to do quilts that have embellishments. That's what I'll say for now. All right. So until next Wednesday, have a great week. Go make lots of beautiful quilt blocks. Have a lot of fun. Enjoy this. We're getting towards the tail end of summer now. Tomorrow we're due to have some really nasty storms, but then we're back into some beautiful weather again next week. It's been gloriously beautiful out this week for sure. And that's coming back next week. So I hope you all stay safe. Please keep the folks down in the Carolinas and all in your thoughts. They are going through some tremendous flooding from Hurricane Debbie that came through. And our good friend, Tanita, she lives down there. And I don't know, I haven't checked back with her, but I know for a while they were without power. So please keep those folks in your thoughts because they're kind of going through it with all the flooding going on. All right, everybody, until next week. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Bye for now, and quilt life beautiful.